Today, the legacy of Evelina Antonetty lives on as scholars, friends, family members, and those gathered here tonight to celebrate her centennial nearly 40 years after her untimely passing in 1984. The 100 Committee and the Puerto Rican community of New York, Puerto Rico, thanks Dr. Daisy Coco de Filippi, president of Hostos Community College, CUNY, for being the principal sponsor of the celebration, Evelina Antonetty. Yes, sí. Un aplauso para ella que estará con nosotros más adelante. Y Evelina Antonetty, known as Titi, the Hell Lady of the Bronx, to be respected by everyone, the mother of the Puerto Rican community, an empowered Puerto Rican woman that was not afraid of the establishment, not afraid of controlling a system or confronting a system that denied them equal rights and opportunities for many Puerto Ricans residing in the South Bronx and New York. Tonight, we welcome her family, the Hostos president, faculty and staff, the committee members and the committee chair, Dr. Nidia R. Edgecombe, and the community at large for this celebration. We want to mention, queremos mencionar a un miembro del Hostos Community College Board of Directors and the Hostos Foundation, el señor Rafael Rivera Viruet. Muchos saludos para don Rafael. Y we would like to call your attention to the program of the night and our sponsors and special donors who, with their contributions, make tonight's performances possible. They are Bob Sancho and Bronx Care Health System. Si quieren, dejen los aplausos para el final porque van a ser muchos. Así que aplaudimos todos de una vez para todos ellos que han sido tan colaboradores. También para, como dijimos, Health System, Bronx Care, 1199 Union, the Iron Workers Union, and Nurses Association of New York. Also, individual donations from the Edgecombe family, the Antonetty's family, the Cabrera family, and Lourdes Torres. Let's give them an applause. Our general donors for all events are listed in the Evelina 100 Weeks calendar. Hostos Community College, CUNY. Centro, the Center for Puerto Rican Studies at Hunter College. The Bronx Music Heritage Center. The Caribbean Cultural Center, African Diaspora Institute. Pregones, Puerto Rican Theater. BronxNet, Bronx County Historical Society, 52nd People for Progress, Rincón Criollo, Caño de Martín Peña, Puerto Rico. Nos quedamos, The Point, Brooklyn College, Caribbean Studies Department, Borough of Manhattan Community College, La Guardia Community College, Dean of Students Office, Taíno Towers, Casita María, Chocolate Cortés, Chocobar, Victor Marcantonio Forum, College of Staten Island, Bronx Care Health System, 1199 SEIU, also Iron Union Workers, Local 417, Unite Here, Local 100, APRG, NYPIRG, LEAPS, Chelsea Rising Latino o Latina 50 Plus, Taller Boricua, Parent Action Committee, News Settlement, and more. Un aplauso para todos ellos. También we have individual donors like Bob Sancho, Enrique Godreau, Wallace Eshcom, María Ponte, Ana Alicea, Idelsa Méndez, Joseph Conso Jr., Rosalí Román, Olga Ayala, Laura Kaplan, Paul Ramírez, Anthony Ramírez, Subida Taylor Lowngill, Marie Vives, Carol Kaplan, Lona Povitz, Nidia Eshcom, Lourdes Torres, Franklin Pérez, Carlos and Kim Sanabria, Lucinda Soe, Lisanka Soro, Paul Mondesir, Luis Romero, and Dr. Gerald Mayer family, Jenisa Vázquez Rodríguez, Donald Antonetty, Connie Tirado, María Silvia Rodríguez, Virginia Barr, Diana Sánchez, Rebecca Lowry, Julie Goldman, y todavía tenemos otros nombres, Malin Falú, Elba Cabrera, Anita Antonetti, yo creo que la sonrisa de Elba me llega aquí, ahí está, ¿verdad, Elba? Y Chauncey Young. Así es que para todos ellos un aplauso. Es impresionante. Y yo creo que era de esperar, ¿verdad? Porque me dijo una persona antes de yo subir aquí al escenario, esta celebración me ha llenado la vida, me ha llenado el corazón y yo creo que nos ha llenado a todos de entusiasmo, de fuerza, de valor, porque hay que tener valor para vivir en esta ciudad, ¿no les parece? Y nosotros somos sobrevivientes, así es que eso vale la pena. Tonight we are being treated to the premiere of a wonderful musical piece entitled Evelina Brave Forever by Maestro Humberto Ramírez. ¿Dónde está don Humberto? Que todos queremos verlo, conocerlo. ¿Dónde está Humberto? Bueno, pues ya vendrá. Está en camerino. The second and last part of the program is a reading of the play Evelina's Heart by the playwright Sandra Rodriguez. Sí. Today's food's provided by Franco Catering and sponsored by the President's Office. Again, thank you very much, Miss President. And ya ella está con nosotros. Miss President, would you do the honor of coming here to make a welcome to everyone who is here? Good. Okay, no problem. They will see you from here. Let me see. Yes. Okay.
A little bit here. Muy buenas tardes. Bienvenidos a Hostos, su casa y la nuestra. Welcome to Hostos. We are so delighted to be able to be here to support. Was there for the beautiful opening. That documentary that was made by a young woman was so powerful. The voices of the family, our own Thelma Itier singing, and everybody. And I look at the chair of the Higher Education Committee for the state of New York, Dr. Guillermo Linares, who was a pioneer in so many ways. And I so appreciate the fact that he was there. And this year we held 2 commencement activities, and he brought remarks to the students on both of them because we wanted to really maintain it safe. This is an opportunity. I asked Diana, who will be doing her debut, reading the English version. We're just going to read a few stanzas of a poem by Julia de Burgos, but I want to tell you a little bit why we chose to read that poem to honor nuestra doctora querida Evelina Antonetty. And I want to also tell you, Elba, that I was invited to attend the activity at Hunter tomorrow afternoon, except that I'm on that blue ribbon panel that is meeting from 2 to 5. So I can't miss it, unfortunately, but I will be with you again on Monday when we close. Okay? I understand the office has been como siempre because they're the most generous, wonderful office supporting in multiple ways, and everything is so beautiful. And Marlene Falou, I couldn't believe that I found her. I remember many years ago, so great to see her again. So this poem was put together in this most incredible collection. This is an old friend. He passed in 2014, Jack Agüeros, who was also the, as you know, the director of the, yeah, okay. Well, he also befriended me, so much so that we share some materials and everything else. So when he gives thanks for this volume, I have to say immodestly that I'm one of the people listed that he thanks for the help with putting some of this together. These are some of the most beautiful translations of the poetry of Julia de Burgos, because Julia de Burgos, in her day and in her way, was as defiant and such a fighter for social justice and political justice in the Caribbean and other places. She went after dictatorships in Spain. Trujillo had her banned from entering the country because she wrote some of the toughest poems. But this particular one is about the Julia de Burgos to Julia de Burgos, which is Julia is saying, I know what the conventions are. And thank God that Evelina chose not to follow that route. She sort of joined the women who were marching, de las Madres de la Plaza de Mayo in Argentina. At some point, the women in Chile with the arpillas and all that, bringing on real social and political change in significant ways. And this is what we remember. And Julia was saying the same. In the end, I'm not a lady. I'm not a lady who sits in salons and get her hair fixed. I'm the one who's going to fight for justice. She's sort of Rocinante, not even Quixote, Rocinante. She's the one that is flying away on her horse, moving forward. So I thought you would enjoy. We would do, because I know there's so much going on, we are going to just read 4 or 5 stanzas. I'll read them first in Spanish in the interest of respecting Evelina's way of doing things. And then we will have Diana. By the way, who's the young as she is? She's my executive chief of staff. And she could have read it in Spanish because she speaks 5 different languages. All right? All right. So, le digo solamente, bien rapidito, que este es un tributo de mucho cariño de otra puertorriqueña que a su manera también revolucionó tantas cosas en su lucha por la justicia social. Les voy a leer 4 estrofas solamente en español y ella le va a leer la traducción que hizo nuestro gran colega de la comunidad, otro de los puertorriqueños que también me ayudaron muchísimo cuando yo era joven, cuando era director. Y como dije, hasta mi nombre aparece aquí porque colaboré un poquito buscando algún material y cosas así. Pero solamente eso quería decir. Ahora voy a leer y después le cedo la voz a todos los demás que están aquí, que tienen un programa bastante, yo diría, rico. Si me ven salir corriendo en algún momento es porque estoy en pie desde las 7:30 de la mañana. 8 horas y pico de plan estratégico estratégico en la oficina central con los otros presidentes. Adelante, vamos. A Julia de Burgos. Ya las gentes murmuran que yo soy tu enemiga, porque dicen en el verso hoy, doy al mundo tu yo. Mienten, Julia de Burgos. Mienten, Julia de Burgos. La que se alza en mis versos no es tu voz, es mi voz. Porque tú eres ropaje y la esencia soy yo. Y el más profundo abismo se tiende entre las dos. Tú eres fría, muñeca de mentira social, y yo viril destello de la humana verdad. Tú, miel de cortesanas hipocresías, yo no, que en todos mis poemas desnudo el corazón. Tú eres como tu mundo, egoísta, yo no, que en todo me lo juego a ser lo que soy yo. Tú eres solo la grave señora, señorona, yo no, yo soy la vida, la fuerza, la mujer. Tú eres de tu marido, de tu amo, yo no, yo de nadie o de todos, porque a todos, en mi limpio sentir y en mi pensar me doy. Tú te rizas el pelo y te pintas, yo no. A mí me riza el viento, a mí me pinta el sol. Tú eres dama, casera, resignada, sumisa, atada a los prejuicios de los hombres. Yo no, que yo soy Rocinante, corriendo desbocado, olfateando horizontes de justicia de Dios.
To Julia de Burgos. Already the people murmur that I am your enemy, because they say that in verse, I give the world your me. They lie, Julia de Burgos. They lie, Julia de Burgos. Who rises in my verses is not your voice. It is my voice, because you are the dressing and the essence is me. And the most profound abyss is spread between us. You are the cold doll of social lies, and me, the virile starburst of the human truth. You, honey of courtesan hypocrisies, not me. In all my poems, I undress my heart. You are like your world, selfish. Not me, who gambles everything betting on what I am. You are only the ponderous lady, very ladylike. Not me. I am life, strength, woman, and you belong to your husband, your master. Not me. I belong to nobody, or all, because to all I give myself in my clean feeling and in my thought. You curl your hair and paint yourself. Not me. The wind curls my hair. The sun paints me. You are a housewife, resigned, submissive, tied to the prejudices of men. Not me. Unbridled, I am a runaway Rocinante, snorting the horizons of God's justice.
In her words, that are the words of Julia de Burgos, she's a woman like Evelina that had a great commitment to the Latinx community. We thank you, President, for your support and acknowledge the work of your staff, Diana Kramer, Nelson Ortiz, and Victor Santana, who made possible all the logistics for tonight's events. You have the best people in town. Thank you. Now we continue with our program, and it is a pleasure now to call to the microphone Elba Cabrera, la madrina de las artes, a member of the Hostos Community College program, the foundation, and Comité Noviembre board member, and the honorary chair of the Evelina 100 Committee for greetings. Elba, si quieres, te puedes quedar acá o te llevan el micrófono allá.
I want to welcome all of you to Hostos. Hostos is a very special place. Evelina envisioned Hostos as a very special place. And when she made her transition, I said to myself, I have to stay here with Hostos in honor of Evelina.
Thank God you did.
And let me tell you, during the pandemic and everything that's been happening, we've had meetings on the Zoom. And at the beginning, I said, oh, I'm not a techie. I didn't want it. But let me tell you, it has saved my life because I couldn't leave the house, but I could go on Zoom. So it was Zoom for Hostos, Zoom for the Centennial. I mean, Nidia and I did this, everything on there. All of my other the commitments, Comité Noviembre, Centro, and I feel like I haven't left anybody out. But it's been really an honor. I am so humbled, and I know a lot of you sitting here who knew my sister, and you know who Titi was. She was for the people. She wanted everyone to get ahead. And I think many of you, yesterday we had a panel with the young people. They were in their 20s, and they were just so great. I just sat there and said, Titi would love this, And I'm really full of joy. My heart is bursting. The artists, and for some of you that know that I come from the art world, not because I'm an artist. I worked for the Association of Hispanic Arts for 10 years. After I left Evelina, because I'd worked there, UBP for 13 years. Yeah. Every time I change my job, people say, how come you? Well, when I change jobs, it's like a new world for me. And that's what happened. So I thank you for coming. Enjoy. We're going to have a great time. And there's more to come. Tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Until Monday.
So, thank you.
Gracias, Elba. Muchas gracias. Y queremos que Anita, la hija de Evelina, pase por acá y salude para que la conozcan, porque ella es, pues, hija de una gran fundadora de una gran comunidad aquí en la ciudad de Nueva York. Anita, ¿quieres dirigirte al público?
See all of you here. See everybody here. My name is Anita Antonetty. I'm the daughter of Evelina and Donato Antonetty. We've all been in the struggle together, and the struggle continues. And I'm hoping that my little nephew there will remember this and continue the struggle. We have to tell our younger people what's going on, what happened, and then we need to get out of the way. So thank you all again for
Gracias
being
a
here.
ti también, Anita. Gracias. Es una gran responsabilidad la que ellos tienen, ¿verdad? Y ahora vamos a recibir a Wally Eshcom con Images of Evelina Art Exhibition. Él va a ser el orador principal. Adelante, si quieres venir acá para que esté más cómodo. Ah, perfecto. Déjame yo quitarme.
Gracias.
¿Cómo no, Wally?
Nice to see you from above. I worked at Hostos Community College for 2.5 lifetimes. 2.5 lifetimes. To be exact, it was 39 years and a day. Así que conste, me tienen que dar crédito por ese día. And in that period, I learned, I worked most of the time as the director of the Hostos Center for the Arts and Culture, which you know, everybody's been there, all of you. I know your faces. You have frequent flyer miles there, and you've been to many a concert, so you know all about it. And I had the privilege and the honor and the very good fortune of being the director for a long time. And in that period, I learned a lot about the art scene at campus-based universities across the country, from coast to coast, from NYU to UCLA. And I can say without a doubt that there is no more arts-friendly campus than Hostos Community College. It's due to a lot of people. But if we were able to do a DNA test of an institution, of a college or a university, we would find out that Evelina Antonetty's genes would be us. You know, she was not only a member of that group of founders of Puertorriqueños, la mayoría, but many African Americans and Dominicans who abogaron por la creación de este centro universitario. And I've looked and I've looked and I've looked to see if there's any connection between Evelina and the arts at Hostos, because how did Hostos become so arts friendly? And I haven't been able to find it, but maybe there's a smart person, researcher out here among you that will me lo puede comprobar. Because I know it has her fingerprints all over Arts Hostos, Arts Friendly University. It's Evelina. No question about it. There you go. That was, she was here at all our takeovers. She was always here, marching, bringing food to us here when we were doing the takeovers, right, Victor? Anita, who was a teenager, I guess, back then, and Evelina would show up with shopping bags for us when we were doing the takeovers. And anyway, here's where I end the ad lib part of this, my remarks, because I have to talk about a lot of people who made this possible. And I have what Maria Aponte, or her husband Bobby, says is viejitis. And I'm not going to remember all those names, so I'm not stage 4 yet, but voy de 2 a 3. Por ahí estoy. Anyway, so I'm going to read from now on, because there's too many valuable and wonderful people that need to be credited. So here, dice así: Evelina mentored, inspired, and encouraged countless artists, actors, visual artists, playwrights, poets. They include the likes of MacArthur Genius Award winner Pepón Osorio, a would-be actor by the name of Jose Serrano, actor and playwright, he wanted to be an actor, actor and playwright Sandra Rodriguez, from whom we will hear soon, and her colleagues at Pregones Theater, our neighbors across this way here. The budding actors of the South Bronx Community Action Theater. You all remember them, right? Fred Darris. Our native Bronx son, visual artist Manny Vega, one of the New York City's most prominent creators of public art. Felix Romero, one of the leading figures in the Bomba y Plena Renaissance of the early 1980s. Not to mention Juan Gutierrez, a National Arts Fellow and founding director of the legendary Pleneros de la 21. They and many more were impacted directly, inspired by Evelina Antonetty's arts advocacy. So when we set out to plan the Centennial celebration, we knew that Evelina's role in the arts would have to be featured prominently. On a par, I venture to say, in my opinion, with her role in union organizing, parental rights, bilingual education, and child nutrition. And there has been no scarcity of enthusiastic experts to join our coordinating committee or to serve as advisors. The committee has done superb work. Co-chair Elena Martinez, I don't know if she's there, out here. Elena has curated an outstanding musical program at the Bronx Music Heritage Center, which is the South Bronx next exciting performance venue, which we must all go to and patronize and support like you've been supporting us here. Our resident poet, Maria Aponte, has put together a thoughtful series of poetry readings, which includes a reading by Hostos Community College's own resident poet, Daisy Coco de Filippis, who also happens to be our president. La embelequera mayor, that's what I call her. We go back years and she always had some special project. Well, of course. I'm a sucker for an embeleco. All right, I got to find my place now. Okay, Rosalie Roman put her expert knowledge of the visual, I'm talking about the committee members, put her expert knowledge of the visual arts to good use this summer when she organized an art auction to benefit our efforts. And our madrina de las artes, Elba Cabrera, who is in every sense the historian of Evelina's family, offered many insights. Our committee also decided that a visual exhibition was most appropriate because so many of our visual artists were impacted by Evelina. So after much brainstorming, we came up with a list of 10 artists. They are Marcos Dima, el maestro Marcos Dima. I know Marcos here, they're here. Párate. And if I read your name and you're here, you gotta stand up, come on. Maria Dominguez, she's here, I know she's here. Ciuco Garcia. Ciuco no llegó. Rudy Gutierrez, Samuel Lind, who's in Puerto Rico. Maestro Antonio Toño Martorell is in Chicago, so he couldn't make it. Sara Morales, one of our own here at Hostos. She was a great administrator in student services, and nobody knew her as an artist, but it was such a wonderful surprise to see how good she is. She is truly good, and she paints from the heart about our people. Esther Pagan, another one, who paints from the heart and loves our community. Nitza Tufiño, no la vi. And Manny Vega, we all know Manny, of course. He's not here either, but he'll be here, I think, at Hunter tomorrow. All had a professional or personal relationship with Evelina, or they have been longtime admirers of her and her work. In selecting the artists, we strive to include a collective with different styles and sensibilities, and I think you'll see that. You have a brochure of the exhibition with short artist biographies and descriptions of the work. If you don't have it in your hands, we'll get it to you. The paintings run the gamut of straightforward portraiture to representations with ethereal, highly symbolic imagery that reference Evelina's Puerto Rican ancestry, her experience as an immigrant, her role as a pioneer of the early Puerto Rican community in New York City, and her distinguished career as an activist and champion of urban America. What you see here, or what you see out in the atrium, are enlargements of our artists' work. These are the originals. We decided, especially after conversations with Maestro Marcos Dimas, to have these made because from the very beginning, we believed that the exhibition had to travel to and be viewed at schools and institutions. In those years that I was here, we would do 2, 3, and 4 art exhibitions a year, depending on the budget. And I don't know, who remembers them? You know, some of you remember them, but all those exhibitions, people don't remember them. The enlargements that we have out there, on the other hand, reproduced on vinyl rolled out mechanisms such as these will facilitate and will obviate the necessity for tedious installations so it can travel to our schools. What remained to make this a truly impactful exhibition were accompanying study and/or teaching guides. That's one thing that we said from the beginning. If this doesn't get through to our youth, we failed. We failed. Enter Comité Noviembre, which under the direction of Comité's director, Teresa Santiago, has committed to engage several of their educators in producing these guides. And so images of Evelina and the story it tells will reach educators and their students who have no memory of the great story, the great lesson that is Evelina Antonetty. Furthermore, our colleagues at the Caribbean Cultural Center African Diaspora Institute, under the direction of our sister Melody Capote, stepped to the fore and contributed a stunning online virtual version of this exhibition. Our heartfelt thanks go out to Mikey Cordero, Sabine Blazin, and Bianca Velez, who designed, organized, and promoted the virtual exhibition. Me queda una página nada más. Victor, get out. The takeover artist. The Caribbean Cultural Center exhibition can be viewed on Evelina100.digital. See it. Believe me, you're going to love it. It's so lovingly done. We strongly urge you to take the time to view it. 3 other individuals have made invaluable contributions to the images of Evelina. One of Hostos Community College's own staff members, Emily Tenzer Santoro, designed the brochure. Donnie Antonetty, Evelina's son. Donnie, is he here? Míralo allí. Donnie, mira, nos sacó de unos apuros ahí en Puerto Rico. He was there. He was, he has the family home there in Salinas. That should be made into a museum, but Donnie's going to live there. So anyway, Donnie was down there, and we had some issues in getting work up here, and he took care of that. And of course, our brother Joey Conzo, I don't think he's here, I didn't see him, contributed, who's Evelina's grandson, he contributed his services and as a photographer, ensuring the quality of these images. Joey is a big-hearted, generous guy, and I thank him from the bottom of my heart for his patience, really. Many of us are here to celebrate this centennial because we want to reminisce, because we knew and loved Mrs. A, our Titi, and we wax nostalgic. That's fine. It is important to remember. Remembrances are one of humankind's most important activities, but most important, what must come out of this centennial celebration, in my humble opinion, is the propagation of the Evelina Antonetty among young people who never knew her. Because Evelina was our Harriet Tubman, our Rosa Parks, our Eleanor Roosevelt, our fourth Mirabal sister, our Lola Rodriguez de Tio, all rolled up in one. As our president, Doña Daisy, said, may this centennial serve to rekindle the fires Evelina Antonetty set in her time and introduce her to and inspire young people to continue her work. Thank you.
Tremenda oratoria la de Wally. Felicidades, Wally. Tienes mucho que dar todavía. Y yo pues también fui como una ahijada de Wally porque en todos los shows de Hostos él me ponía de maestra de ceremonia. Así es que Wally, gracias. Siempre estaré agradecida de tu confianza y de tu aprecio. Ahora vamos a continuar y en estos momentos vamos a presentar a una persona que es parte de este evento. Vamos a presentarles a Humberto Ramírez y sus músicos, cada uno por su nombre. Tenemos a Edsel Gómez en el piano. Por favor, Edsel. Alexander Ayala, bass, ese es el bajo, ¿verdad? Carlos Maldonado en la percusión. Iván Rentas en el saxofón. Y Tony Cintrón en los drums. In celebration of Evelina 100, Maestro Ramirez has composed a commissioned work specifically for this occasion. The composition links the experience of Evelina and the Puerto Rican diaspora of the South Bronx. Let me tell you a little about Humberto Ramírez. Recognized as one of the most innovative musicians of this generation, Humberto Ramírez grew up in a home where the music of Miles Davis and Tito Puente was always heard. After graduation from the San Juan Free School of Music, his interest in composing and arranging music motivated him to enroll at Berklee College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts, where earned his bachelor's degree in music, then studied composition and orchestration for film and television at Dick Grove School of Music in Los Angeles, California. Call Humberto to the microphone to explain the process. Where is Humberto? Here? Okay, so there in your front, you can explain the process of composing the musical piece, Brave Forever, for the 100th celebration.
Thank you. Before we get to the composition I wrote for this special occasion, I like to say I'm from Puerto Rico. I was born in Santurce, and but Después de 2 días, yo nací en San Mateo de Cangrejo. But after the first 2 days, my mom and dad took me to Old San Juan. I was raised in Old San Juan, Calle Sol. La Calle Sol. I spent my first year in Sol, Calle Sol, 110, and then we moved to Calle Sol 270, between Calle San Justo and Calle Tanca. So I was born in Puerto Rico. It's an honor for me to be able to be here with all of you celebrating Evelina Lopez Antonetty. And later on, before I get to the actual composition that I wrote, I'm going to talk about that later. But first, I want to play for you one song that it's very special to us Puerto Ricans. It was written by the great composer Noel Estrada. He was born in Isabela in June 4, 1918. And his brother, Noel Estrada's brother, he was serving at the U.S. Army. And he told Noel Estrada, you know, I miss the island, I miss Puerto Rico. Why don't you write a song that reminds me of the island so I can be attached to my island, to Puerto Rico? And that's how came to life a beautiful song. His name is En mi viejo San Juan. Gracias. Gracias. Esta pieza dedicada a todos ustedes, especialmente a Elba Cabrera, está con nosotros. En mi viejo San Juan de Nueva Estrada. Before we get to the premiere of the composition inspired by Evelina Antonetty, I like to play a song. It was one of my favorite songs from a Puerto Rican composer. He was born January 1st, 1922 in Cuamo, Puerto Rico. Vaya. You can tell he's from Cuamo. His name was Felix Manuel Rodriguez Capó, better known as Bobby Capó. And Bobby Capó wrote this beautiful song that we all love. It's called Soñando con Puerto Rico. It's 100 years ago, January 1st, 1922. Like Evelina, yeah. 100 years. Gracias, gracias. Gracias, gracias. Thank you, gracias. And now we're ready to premiere the composition dedicated, inspired by Dr. Evelina Lopez Antonetty. I want to talk a little bit about this composition that I wrote back in Puerto Rico in my home. At the beginning of the year, I think it was February, sometime in February, maybe March, beginning of March, my friend Nidia and Wally Edgmond and Lala Torres invite me for dinner. And I thought it was going to be a, hangout, gathering kind of thing, and so they talked to me about this great event that we are experiencing right now. And they asked me to write a composition inspired by the legacy of Dr. Evelina. And I agree, immediately I agree. I said, this is a great opportunity. I admit, I didn't know who Evelina Lopez Antonetty was. But since that day, I started studying, reading, looking for all the information that I could get to write this composition. So you're going to listen to this composition. It's going to be played for the first time here for you. And it's going to take you, you're going to listen to it, it's going to take you from the Afro-Caribbean sound and rhythms of Puerto Rico to the Latin urban sounds of New York City, especially, the Bronx. And so it's going to start with, La Plena de Puerto Rico. The birthplace of the Plena is Barrio Joya del Castillo in Ponce. Evelina was born in Salinas, but lived in Ponce, Barrio San Antón, close to Barrio Joya del Castillo, the birthplace of Plena. So you're going to listen that journey, Salinas, Ponce, and then she moved to New York. So you're going to listen to the sounds of okay, go ahead. Okay, sí, por favor. Dale. Muy bien, muy bien.
Quiero decirle a las personas que están en la parte de atrás que acá se oye el murmullo y este es un momento de mucho respeto para Evelina Antonetty, por eso estamos aquí. Y vamos a escuchar esta pieza que se va a inaugurar aquí en Hostos Community College. Esto es historia, señores. Así es que vamos a callarnos y vamos a hacer silencio.
Muy bien. Gracias, mi amor. Eres de las mías. Yo no quería decir nada, pero si ustedes están allá atrás y vinieron al jangueo, váyanse al lobby. The lobby, you can talk everything you want. Go to the lobby. If you're here for this special occasion. Okay, good. Okay, so entonces I was talking about then the piece is going to take you to the sound of mambo, jazz, what we call these days Latin jazz Latino. And then it's going to go back to one of Puerto Rico traditional rhythms, la bomba. Because Evelina, once she moved to New York, she was back and forth. Puerto Rico, New York, Puerto Rico, New York. So it's gonna take you to all those rhythms, and that's the base and the purpose of this composition. I had a hard time trying to give a title to this composition. I didn't want to miss the opportunity to name this composition properly. So I took my time. I don't know if you agree, but I think I took the time that I needed, and I named the composition the right way. The name of this composition is Forever Brave. A tribute to Dr. Evelina Antonetty. I'd like to present the musicians they're going to play this composition with me. Very talented musicians, very good friend of mine. On saxophone from Guamo, Puerto Rico, Iván Renta. On percussion, on congas, Carlos Maldonado. On drums, Tony Cintron. On bass, Alex Apolo Ayala. And on piano, Etzel Gómez de Bayamón. Okay, enjoy. I hope you like this composition for Evelina. Forever great, forever brave. Gracias, gracias. Thank you. Gracias.
Lala, foto. Aquí, vente. Vente, Lala. ¡Que viva Evelina! Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Vamos para allá.
Tengo que hablar de aquí porque el bajo no me deja hacer. Hermoso, ¿qué les pareció? Algo especial, ¿verdad? Bueno, hay más, todavía no se ha acabado. Van aquí los amigos a movilizar todos los instrumentos y todo lo que está aquí, porque vamos a tener más adelante, después de unos 10 minutos de intermedio, para que ustedes coman algo más, vayan al servicio sanitario, lo que sea, muevan las piernas, caminen un poco por ahí y regresen, porque entonces va a haber como especie de una obra de teatro que ha hecho una gran colaboradora en este condado, en pregones ella estuvo por mucho tiempo, y ahora esta noche vamos a ver otro de sus talentos, porque ella trabajó conmigo como productora en mi programa de radio allá en Guado, en Hablando con Malín, y nos conocemos de hace tiempo. Es una muchacha muy inteligente, muy creativa, y esta noche vamos a ver otra expresión de lo que es la vida de Evelina Antonetty. Así es que esperamos que los músicos, que verdaderamente se merecen un gran aplauso, vinieron desde Puerto Rico para estar con nosotros en una inauguración de una pieza especial. Así es que caminen, ejercítense un poco y regresen en 10 minutos. para ver lo próximo. Va a haber un video de Evelina para los que se quieren quedar aquí y distraerse. Un video de Evelina. Gracias. The play by Sandra Rodriguez, directed by Professor Ángel Morales. Y vamos a presentar a los actores y actrices que van a interpretar esta obra, que es corta pero muy significativa. Sandra Rodriguez, the playwright, is a Puerto Rican actor, director, writer, and activist, and she's going to read excerpts of her play. Evelina's heart takes place a few seconds before Evelina's transition. Due to her good dream deeds in life, she has been placed in limbo, where she would have the opportunity to review her life and make the choice of going back to Earth, to continue her work or move on. The version scripted for Evelina 100 will consist of short scenes from the play, in which Evelina once again has to reflect on her past life, her afterlife, and her role in working from heaven for peace and justice. Evelina is reunited once again with God to remember and maybe more. Professor Ángel Morales, director of the Hostos Repertory Theater, is directing the stage reading along with a great team of professionals to make this special evening a wonderful celebration of Evelina's life. Sandra, please, can you come to the microphone? Todavía. Ok. Bueno, pues entonces damos pie, damos paso a esta pequeña obra.
Titi Strikes Back. Selection of scenes from the play Evelina's Heart by Sandra Rodriguez. Setting: Earth, Bronx, New York, September 2022. Good evening. My name is Jose Febus, and I will be the narrator for tonight's presentation as part of the Evelina 100 celebration. As you all know, 38 years ago, Earth time, Evelina was appointed to run the Heavenly Department for Global Justice and Peace. Scene 1, Intervention.
Sí, ya estamos adentro. Sigue con lo del contingente para el piquete en Grand Concourse. Rosa and Lorraine are in charge. Por favor, check with them. Good evening. Please stay calm. This is a peaceful intervention. I am sure you know who I am. And if you don't, look at your program or look at the walls. There's an exhibition, beautiful exhibit. Yes, I am Evelina Antonetty in the flesh, and this is a takeover.
Evelina, what have you done? You know you cannot present yourself to the living. Don't you remember the terms of your agreement?
I told you I was not going to take all the BS going up there. You know me pretty well by now. Neither me, mis ahijados, mis ahijadas y mi gente are going to stay con los brazos cruzados.
Evelina, you know there are very serious charges against you. The Celestial Junta will use this as more ammunition to remove you from your post of divine come candela.
Yes, I got the letter.
Dear Evelina, as you know, Much has happened since your arrival to the afterlife. Corrupted deals and mismanagement by some heavenly executives have caused a major crisis on heaven's government. BG, God.
That's me. Has been removed from her post, and we have been appointed to supervise all businesses until we deem appropriate to turn it over again.
It has been 38 years since your appointment and a few days before the centennial of your birth. You must report immediately before the junta to review your achievements, discuss some concerns, and your future with us.
During your tenure, you have been in charge of global justice. But we have noticed that the world, instead of getting better, is getting worse. You tell me. That no matter the lessons, humanity seems to repeat the same mistakes over and over. We have received information that you have been abusing your powers, bringing on board close friends and relatives, using dubious strategies to get results, including communicating directly with the living. Parece mentira que después de tanto tiempo esta gente a mí no me conozca.
Needless to say, those infractions to ethical and moral codes will be addressed.
Esta gente, por más divinos que sean, se creen que yo no sé lo que se traen entre manos. I know they're setting me up and blaming me for the mess they have made for the last 38 years. They let those corrupted beings run things without much supervision, and now they have taken over dizque para arreglar el problema. They cut my universal funds to a half and have restrained the scope of our interventions. What did they expect? Que me iba a quedar pasma. And now they want to use the Evelina 100 event to spread lies about me and about the work we've been doing for the last 38 years. They are looking for a scapegoat. But that's not me. No saben con quién se están metiendo.
Evelina, ¿cómo vamos a resolver esto? Bueno, I can see how you want to do it.
You know me. Y de que se resuelve, se resuelve.
Evelina, let's pause for a second. Before we decide on a course of action, this is a good time, your 100th birthday, to reflect a little and remember how we came together.
1984 Earth's time. Scene 2, power meeting. Pictures of Evelina past are projected, ending with a picture of Evelina talking to God.
Evelina, you've given your heart away. Very little is left. It has given up much earlier than its scheduled time. There's still so much for you to do, but no heart left. That's why we brought you here.
Yeah, you put me in limbo and started talking nonsense.
Evelina Antonetty, you have been granted the gift of reactualization. We could give you a new heart if you so desire, for you to return to Earth to continue your work. But before...
¿Y se puede saber quién es usted que quiere tanta información? Who are you? And what is this business about explicaciones, discusiones y aclaraciones? Young lady. Yo soy la que ahora está haciendo las preguntas. Who are you?
I've been called by many names. Yahweh, Jehová, Shiva, God, Dios, Yokahu, the Great Spirit, the Supreme Being. But you can call me Big G.
Sí, yo soy la Virgen María.
Evelina, I don't have to convince you of anything. So even if you don't believe me, it won't change the fact that I am in charge. So how is this going to play out?
God, a woman. Of course. Are you God for real? Remember that? Una mujer.
It's been a lifetime since our first encounter. We've done such great work together. Lo de renuncia, Black Lives Matter, you did good.
Sí, y parece mentira que this junta dares to say that we have done nothing, blames us for everything wrong in the world, and now wants to take over our powers and resources away. Porque ellos no nos dejaron meterle mano a esa guerra, ni esos pillos corruptos.
Evelina, tomemos un minuto para recordar. You said it once.
Scene 3, remember.
Learning our history is the best way to understand our present and take action to change the future.
Visuals of Tainos and blacks enslaved, heroes and martyrs of Puerto Rico and the world.
No es un lujo el recordar. Derrota sería no hacerlo. En los hechos de los pueblos encuentro respuesta ya. Para camino trazar, miramos a nuestra historia con nuestro afán matrimonial, descubriendo la verdad para justicia lograr y de todo sea la gloria.
You worked those fields, defended your land, felt that pain, died that death over and over.
Remembrance is painful but liberating.
Sin 4, hats.
Your hats. ¿Qué es lo que guarda Evelina debajo de ese sombrero?
¿Qué es lo que guarda Evelina debajo de ese sombrero? ¿Qué es lo que guarda Evelina debajo de ese sombrero? ¿Qué es lo que guarda Evelina? ¿Qué es lo que guarda Evelina?
People of all colors had rallied to re-elect Congressman Vito Marcantonio.
United States Department of Agriculture. Parents from the South Bronx dumped hundreds of pounds worth 1 week of uneaten school lunches.
Parents and community took over the East Tremont Library in response to the threat of the city closing it.
Lincoln Hospital.
Take over.
Hostos College.
Take over.
Fort Apache of the Bronx.
Boycott.
La Escuelita.
Summer lunches.
Head Start.
District 65.
Bilingual education.
Prisioneros políticos puertorriqueños.
Libre.
You have worn plenty of hats throughout your life. Was there a time of no hats?
Siempre ha habido un sombrero. Siempre hubo un sombrero. It was something that came embedded in my soul. Desde Puerto Rico hasta Nueva York.
Sin 5, Nueva York. Images of San Juan Bay as seen from a departing ship. Music continues to play as Evelina stands still. Images of a gray fall afternoon in New York Bay, as if seen from an arriving ship. Black and white images on screen. New York City during the Depression era. News, headlines, photos of soup kitchen lines, hunger, poverty, people of all colors on crowded tenements.
It was the Great Depression.
Visuals of a teenage Evelina getting dressed for school being held by Tia Vicenta.
Yes, Tia Vicenta, I will come home straight from school.
Dios me la bendiga.
Mr. Matthews, she is sick. We took her to the infirmary, but there was no one to take care of her. Mr. Matthews, she's very sick. And in the infirmary, there's only cotton and alcohol. What do you mean, wait? She is sick. Then they force the hats on you. And it's your choice. So we went on strike. It was the only strike ever recorded in the history of Wadley High. 2 Jewish, 1 black girl, and myself stayed away from school until changes were made. We won. A nurse was hired for the medical room.
But that was just the beginning. The boycott against local grocery stores, the bodegas.
Though we black and Latinos in Harlem were the only ones spending our money, the white store owners refused to hire us. So I rallied the neighbors, and we stopped shopping in those stores.
Picking up the relief food allotment for your neighbors, translating for them. Don't you think it was too much responsibility for such a young woman?
I didn't know any other way. Mami, Tia Vicenta, Tío Godró, Don Jesús Colón, they always said, si algo necesita arreglarse, no podemos esperar a que otros lo hagan, porque si no, no se hace. If something needs to be fixed, we cannot and should not wait for someone else to do it, because it might never get fixed. It was a matter of survival.
Survival. Everywhere you had to find ways to survive, haven't you?
Scene 6, PTA. Evelina, they don't respect us.
Titi, the school officials don't want to hear it.
Evelina, no nos escuchan.
Titi, all they want is a PTA de bizcocho y galletitas, of cookies and cakes.
I heard them. And that's how UBP, United Bronx Parents, was born, a home for the family of the South Bronx.
Hard work. Parent training programs to learn about their rights, GED programs, youth after-school programs, daycare. Then demonstrations, sit-ins, takeovers. They called you the Hell Lady of the Bronx. Not much of a heavenly name.
Scene 7, the meeting. Flashbacks between Evelina and Rosa Escobar. God poses as Rosa Escobar.
Rosa, the school board does this every year. They wait till the last minute when the school year is almost over, about to end, to push their agendas. They know there's no one to watch over the wheelings and dealings. They know we have no time to organize the parents, pero no se van a salir con la suya.
Evelina and Rosa arrive at the meeting.
Help me, please. Excuse me. Excuse me down here. Excuse me, I'd like to say something. Excuse me, I think I'm pretty big for you not to see me. Every year, you people do the same thing in trying to distribute the budget without the proper participation or representation of the parents and the community. Excuse me, but I think I have the floor. No. I am not disrupting. I'm trying to make a point. You don't need to call security. I know they're not going to let us speak, Rosa. What are we going to do? We need to stop this meeting. ¿Qué hacemos? Petardo. Firecrackers. ¿Tú tienes fósforo? Since this auditorium is inclined, it's gonna land right at their feet. Go ahead. What are you looking at? Just because we came from the South Bronx, it doesn't mean that we did that. Espera que me vas a partir el brazo. See you in September.
So, the meeting was adjourned.
And coming September, we were ready for them.
I must say that your style was quite unorthodox.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Was there ever a backlash?
Scene 8, Donnie.
I came in because I need some explanations. Today, my son Donnie has been sent home. This letter says that there is some consternation about my son's behavior. This says so. Please explain to me how my child could be, unquote, disruptive, a disturbing influence? Or is there something else that I should know? For Christ's sake, he was in kindergarten.
Do you think they expelled Donnie because of your activism?
What do you think? I work in that school organizing the parents. They harass me, they threaten me, they try to intimidate me, but that only make me resist and work harder.
Don't you think people would consider you maladjusted?
Scene 9, maladjusted.
Maladjusted is a word, so use and abuse all the time. Maladjusted is a word, so use and abuse all the time. If you don't play by the rules, and if you walk off the line, maladjusted is a word by which I'll be defined. I am calling on all people to be maladjusted. There are so many things about which I am proud to be maladjusted. Injustice, poverty, racism. I am sure history has a place for those who have the courage to be maladjusted.
You seem to have a lot of passion. So, ¿y el amor? What about love?
El amor es una de las cosas más sabrosas de la vida. My life has been a homage to love. My children are proof of that. I remember I had this gorgeous boyfriend when I was 15. He looked just like Nat King Cole. He took me riding on his bicycle and bought me soda. I married twice. First to Lorraine's father, Vinaldo Montenegro, a true Cuban patriot. I learned so much from him. Could you believe that he came to the United States the very same day that I was born in Puerto Rico? Later, I married Donato.
Excuse me, Evelina. But for someone who advocates love so much, I am finding some inconsistencies. There's something about weapons and violence.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never carried any weapons.
I have heard that more than one had fallen prey to the anger of your cartera.
Un carterazo nunca mataba a nadie. If a cartera, a simple purse, could become a weapon to help us achieve the justice we deserve, why not? Just imagine all of us repartiendo justicia a carterazo limpio.
Scene 10, Fort Apache. They read out loud a scene from the screenplay Fort Apache, The Bronx. Opening scene, South Bronx Street, early in the morning.
A junkie prostitute staggering down the street.
Two policemen comment on her body and watch her as she slinks up to their car. She says to them,
I get something for you.
She puts out a gun out of her purse and empties it into their heads and bodies.
She walks off. Soon,
a group of Puerto Rican youth inch cautiously over to the police car and
look in, then
they loot the dead bodies.
The movie.
Fort Apache, The Bronx.
Action. Fort Apache, Scene 2. At Evelina's office in the South Bronx.
Mijito, thank you so much for coming over. I appreciate your coming to speak on behalf of Time Life Pictures and the movie Fort Apache, The Bronx.
I think this is a very generous offer. And as I said, there will be thousands of dollars, if not millions, pouring into our community. Acting, technical, and support jobs for nuestra gente.
I see.
God knows how much we need that. Plus, we will completely renovate your offices. Offer a fully funded writing and filmmaking program for your youth, and you will be the one to administer it. This is great.
Déjame pensarlo. I'll think about it.
Then they sent Fiorello. God now becomes Fiorello, the Italian producer for the film.
Mrs. A, I hear your arguments. Please do not get excited. I have the same kind of feelings you guys have. I understand. I personally feel hurt. I would like to see the South Bronx develop. I love South Bronx. I want to buy property here. I love rice and beans more so than I love spaghetti.
Mr. Fiorello, you will definitely hear from us. I knew something had to be done.
The consignas are heard in the background as visuals of the Fort Apache demonstrations are seen.
Fort Apache we reject, treat our people we respect.
Fort Apache we reject, treat our people with respect. Fort Apache we reject, treat our people with respect.
It was a large group of diverse people supporting our cause. We disrupted the shooting. Many times we stopped it. Massive demonstrations and threats of protest forced a New York theater to close it and delayed its opening in Philadelphia and Jersey City. Many more protests all over the country. The revenues for the film were way below expectations. So you see, estas son oportunidades. Opportunities to make ourselves be heard and to create and nurture community.
Scene 11, Navidad. Staff meeting at the United Bronx Parents. God acts as the chair of a very important meeting. She seems serious and concerned.
Well, you have to make up your mind before Mrs. A gets here. Mrs. A!
This meeting has been going on for too long. Every Christmas we go through this at UVP. If you, the staff, does not decide, I will decide. Bueno, yo decido. Pernil. Serviremos pernil. Pork roast will be served at the Christmas party, and that's it.
Scene 12, definitions. Who are you?
Evelina, you have led quite an interesting life. From girl to a young woman to mother and wife, always leading, always changing not only yourself, your goals, your community, transforming. But now, Evelina, tell me in your own words, who are you?
Definitions. Scene 2, Puerto Rican. Evelina is now a young adult going for a job interview. God becomes the interviewing clerk.
Evelina Antonetty.
From the Bronx.
Bronx, New York. Yes, it's all right there.
I noticed you marked black on race.
Yes, it's marked right there, black.
But you're not black.
Well, then cross it out and mark white.
But you're not white.
I know that, but there's only two squares, black or white. You can cross it out.
What are you?
Me? I am a U.S. citizen.
Citizen?
I am a citizen.
I mean, where do you come from?
Oh, you mean nationality? Puerto Rican.
Race? Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican. But my race is not Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican became a race because it was confusing and hard to define what I was with this color. And when I said blanca or I said black, I then became a Puerto Rican. You know, a new coloring. But let me tell you who I am.
Scene 13, legacy.
I'm sure there's got to be a reason as to why I was born a Puerto Riqueña, a Puerto Rican woman of color, because the rest I have chosen to be activist, mother, wife, friend.
Evelina, what is your legacy?
Why do I have to be thinking about legacy? What the heck is that? You do what you do, you solve the problems at hand, move on to the next, and the ones who come behind you pick up after you're gone. Why do you have to make things so complicated? What do you want me to say? I have received plenty. Now, about passing on a legacy, I don't know. I have never worried about that. It just happens.
It is always like this. People with a true sense of purpose never see themselves as leaders or keepers of something worth passing on. It is greater than you, than your family, your community. Think. Your ancestors all the way across the ocean, from Africa to Puerto Rico. Your grandmother, your mother, Vicenta, your aunt, the courageous, the groundbreaker from Puerto Rico, you, your sisters, your children, your ahijados and ahijadas, all the people you have touched in so many ways. You've done some pretty awesome work down here.
Then you offer me a job.
Making change, influencing, shaping, transforming, without limits, boundaries, or frontiers. Time and space of no concern. Doing 1,000 times more. A real challenge.
Not going back. Staying in the afterlife with you. I remember. It was the hardest choice of my life, o mejor dicho, afterlife. Pensé en UVP, in my causes. They were counting on me. I was going to be dead for them. I thought my work would die with me.
That's where your legacy was passed on. Because you were there all the way. There and everywhere. Alive in so many people in so many ways. Your work has endured and multiplied. Remember that I told you they were going to name streets, buildings, parks, and schools after you. But your real legacy was to be seen and felt deeper. Look.
Visuals of the murals, paintings, signs of the street named after Evelina, posters of events in her honor and memory, photos of Lorraine and UBP, sus ahijados y ahijadas, Take Wall Street, Black Lives Matter, Marina, out of Vieques, Ricky, renuncia.
We did great for so many years, many victories. But these past years have been quite challenging. That's why I brought on board a Rosa, a Lorraine, a Richie, a Lilian, a Luis Garden, a Doña Lolita, a Don Rafael, a Roberto Rabin, a Elizán. Hasta me acaban de mandar un tal Tito Mato. And this junta dares to question it. Mira, Billy, ya está bueno de recuerdo y vamos a meter mano. Ya el piquete está formado en Concourse y nos vamos a asegurar que la junta se queda muda. Búscate a Nidia Escom. ¿Dónde está Nidia? Nidia Escom, tú tienes que meter mano. Mi hijo Donny. ¿Dónde está mi hijo Donny? Mi hija Anita. ¿Dónde está mi hija Anita? Mi hermana Elba. Mis sobrinos Paul y Anthony. Mis nietos y nietas, cada cual desde su frente. Ponce las pilas y sus patriotas. Julio, Lala. Tenemos que asegurarnos que no nos roben los derechos por lo que tanto hemos luchado. Nuestros derechos civiles. A decidir con nuestros cuerpos, a proteger el medio ambiente, a la vida, a la tranquilidad, a la paz y a la felicidad. Un ejército de ahijados y ahijadas. ¿Dónde están mis ahijados y mis ahijadas? Pónganse de pie que los quiero ver. ¿Dónde están? ¿Dónde están mis ahijados y dónde están mis ahijadas? Y yo les voy a preguntar con quién cuento y ustedes me van a decir con nosotros. ¿Con quién cuento?
¡Con nosotros!
¿Con quién cuento?
¡Con nosotros!
¿Con quién cuento?
¡Con nosotros!
Cuento con todos y cada uno de ustedes. Les dejo a cargo. Anita, cuida tu rosal. Donny, cuida de la casa. Baby sister, tienes mi corazón. No hay espacio para nostalgia. Vamos a meter mano porque yo me voy ahora a bregar con la junta.
Muchas felicidades, Sandra, me has dejado impresionadísima, bello, porque tú sentada yo dije, Dios, pero Evelina me dio como de momento un frío, tú sabes. Y era que ella estaba estudiando su papel. Perfecto, maravilloso. Eso nos llena a todos de una felicidad, de saber que las cosas no se desvanecen, que las cosas siguen, que cada cual hace lo suyo y eso tiene perseverancia, tiene valor. Así es que vamos a darle nuevamente un aplauso a Sandra y a sus compañeros de trabajo que hicieron una labor excelente. Lo bueno sería que después nos dijeran si esto se va a presentar más formalmente en algún sitio.
No.
¿No? Bueno, vamos a ver qué dice Nidia Eshcom. Amigos, gracias a ustedes, gracias a todos ustedes que han estado aquí. Ha sido una noche esplendorosa, maravillosa.